The Universal Basic Education Commission in Nigeria has unveiled a comprehensive three-year reintegration plan spanning that's between 2025 to 2028 to tackle the persistent challenge of out-of-school children across the country. Aisha Garba, the Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education in the country, disclosed that the initiative aims to bring thousands of children back in the classroom by addressing barriers to education and strengthening community-based support system, signaling a renewed commitment to inclusive and equitable learning for all. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is Professor Shehu Raheem Adaramaja, is the Executive Chairman of Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board, Kwara State. I also have Bashiru Saheed, is the Deputy Registrar of Westland University, Osun State. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. All right, we of course are still trying to connect with our guest, but just to give you a bit of, an overview of what exactly the situation is at the moment. When it comes to education and the amount of out-of-school children in the country, one would but wonder and, bring it up to say it's pretty much pivotal that something be done, within the shortest possible time. Now, we, of course, understand that over the years, there have been attempts by various governments to sort of shrink the number of out-of-school children. But due to the level of insecurity in certain parts of the country, it seems that that number seems to be widening up. There have been attempts, not just by government, even by private bodies, NGOs, to sort of help reduce this number. Now, UBEC targets about 10 million out-of-school children in a three-year plan to ensure that they are back in the classroom. Now, the Executive Secretary, while speaking at a two-day retreat which was held in Kano, emphasized that the Commission has set a three-year target to reintegrate about 10 million out-of-school children back to school, which amounts to reducing the menace by 70% between the year 2025 and 2028. According to her, in her words, the main objective of this retreat is for us to spend 2 days together with UBEC and SUBEB staff all across the quarter, zonal, and state offices to take stock of what we have done so far in the past 6 months since assumed office, and then also to look at the key priorities that we need to deliver in the next 6 months or the next 1 year. She further stated that one of the key objectives is for them to work together as a team to foster that teamwork as well as collaborate with the national and state level governments to ensure that key priorities are aligned and they deliver basic education for the betterment of the child, so that, which of course is the key objective and the reason why they have been set up. Well, I understand that we have Bashiru Saheed, is the Deputy Registrar Admissions, Westland University, Osun State. Joins virtually. Thank you for your time, sir.
Swipe down.
All right. Can you just give us an idea of, how much of an issue or problem out-of-school children in the country is? What are we looking at?
I can't hear you very well, please.
Okay. Can you just give us an overview of how much of a menace the issue of out-of-school children is in the country?
Wow. You see, the menace of these out-of-school children is just a time bomb for Nigeria. Because if we are looking at how we are bringing up our children, how they're supposed to be raised properly, sending them to good school, letting them have this morals, value, so that we can have a better society. But when we are having out-of-school children, that shows we are not taking care of our future. And that's a time bomb. When we look at this issue of Lakurawa, this issue of Boko Haram, they all started from those children that are out of school. Because if they have a proper education, if they have a proper guidance, if they have a proper mentorship and all that, I believe they will be useful for themselves before we talk of the society. So the problem is that if we don't take care of those out of school children, we are on a time bomb, which can explode anytime.
You mentioned quite a number of issues that might be responsible for this. You mentioned some of the terrorist groups. We know that insecurity plays a pivotal role, if not the front role. And then there's also the issue of poverty. I would like you to speak on these issues, particularly the approach of the government in addressing these issues. Do you think that from your analysis and overview, do you think that the approach over the years, particularly by the government, has been from a standpoint of sincerity?
You see, out of school children is as good as we are looking at the insecurity that it will cause in the nearest future. And I believe the government as a whole, both the federal, state, and local government, they should look into that area very well. Because look at a young child that is being given an ammunition, he will look at it as a toy because it's not properly trained, it's not properly educated on how to make use of it. And even if you're going to make use of it, you ought to be recruited in the right agency, the military or the armed forces. You see, so the insecurity is causing is very alarming. And if we look at it as Nigeria as a context, we see that the problem is quite alarming in the north, in the northern part of the country, where we have people just give birth to children and they hide under this, so to speak, Islamic law that God will take care of them. So they can just go to the streets, roaming around with plates, looking for food here and there. So if there's no proper guidance, then it's an insecurity on the country as a whole. And the problem starts from the issue of poverty, as you have said. You see, government needs to look into the economic aspect of the country, whereby we need to provide certain amenities, food, shelter, in a larger percentage to the populace, so that even if you have something to eat, you have a place to stay, you think less of doing evil to the community or to the society at large.
All right.
So it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
All right. There's also the issue, especially in this, will I call it, current age that we live in. Permit me to use the word, the motivation to study, the motivation to go to school, and the motivation to stay in school. I mean, since with the advent of social media, and the infiltration of cultures and purification of cultures, where some young persons look up to certain individuals on social media and their lifestyle, and they begin to question the rationale of going to school, saying that, look, this person maybe dropped out or didn't go to school and is living lavishly. There's also the issue of internet fraud. So, but where I'm going to with this is the motivation to study, go to school, and stay in school. Do you think that still exists? Are schools still attractive enough in terms of the quality of education, the quality of courses, even the quality of lecturers, to ensure that students stay in school and finish their course, and even the possibility of jobs out there?
Thank you very much. You see, that is why I'm an advocate of bringing up these vocational institutions, whereby this issue of encouraging or being motivated to go to school boils down to what are you going to get after schooling. Some people will look at it at the end of the day, having spent certain years, primary, secondary, university, you still have to be roaming the street looking for jobs. So, and that boils down to that's a function of the government. Create an enabling environment whereby people will be rest assured that if I go to school to study certain courses, I have a place where I can start making use of the knowledge I have acquired in a university, a polytechnic, or NCE, or what have you. So that that's a motivating factor. Because at the tail end of that knowledge acquisition, you need to be rest assured that there's a place for you to work. And that is why I keep saying that people keep clamoring that you need to go to university to go and obtain get a BSc a degree. Whereas, what are we doing with our vocational institute? Somebody can go and learn furniture, welding, tailoring, and let them be a reputable, a well-recognized people in the society, so that they will see that even if I don't go to the four wall of the university, if I don't go to the four wall of the polytechnic, if I just go to a vocational institute to go and learn certain handwork, I can be able to make use of it. And the society will look up to me as somebody who is responsible, who has achieved a lot, who has done well for himself, and will be able to feel free to give up society. That's a motivation factor. Because if you see that at the end of the day, going to school amount to nothing, then there's a problem. And the issue of this internet fraud, those who don't go to school just make money overnight, that is where we need to look into our legal framework in terms of how do we manage that area. Because if people
Mr.
just
Saeed,
walk,
Mr. Saeed,
hello?
I know that
Yes,
you have a lot to say on this, but we really need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely dig deep into this conversation. I'll be bringing in Professor Shehu Raheem Adaramaja. He's the Executive Chairman of Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board. He's joining virtually from Kwara. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay. Good evening, Professor Shehu.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you so much for joining News Central. My name is Dakpo. We will be live in about 30 seconds.
Okay, Dakpo.
Yes, sir. We'll be live shortly, sir.
Okay.
Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still had my guest with me on the program, Professor Shehu Raheem Adaramaja is the Executive Chairman of Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board. I also have Bashiru Saheed, is the Deputy Registrar Admissions at Westland University. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Let me come to you, Professor Adaramaja. Let's talk about UBEC's plan, you know, to tackle the issue of out-of-school children, which of course is the core of this conversation. From the angle or perspective of UBEC, we know that there was a meeting, a retreat on this issue. What is the strategy to shrink this number?
Thank you very much. For the purpose of our listeners, let me first of all define what is out-of-school children. Out-of-school children are school-age children who are supposed to be in the school, but for one reason or the other, it may be cultural reason, it may be socio-economic reason, it may be religion reason, or some other factors, they could not find themselves in the school environment learning. We find them mostly roaming about the streets or doing some palatable things in the town. Yes, at the level of a Universal Basic Education Commission, there are a lot of plans by which UBEC is trying to address the phenomenon of out-of-school children. And we have a mandate that in the next 3 years, we will try as much as possible
Okay, I understand that, of course, we're trying to connect with Professor Adaramaja. We lost him as a result of network connection. But we have Mr. Saheed. Mr. Saheed, if you're there and you can hear me. Okay, we have a Professor back. Professor, we lost you for a moment. Please kindly pick up.
Okay.
All right. While we're still trying to, of course, connect with Professor Shehu Raheem Adaramaja, Saheed, just before we go, because we're really pressed for time on this one, in 30 seconds, what would be your recommendation to tackle this issue of children that are out of school?
You see, my recommendation boils down to every homes, every families. You see, just like what Margaret Thatcher once said, she said, if you want to love the world, peace in the world, go and love your family. If individually we are able to play our own role by taking good care of our family within the limited resources, limited available resources we have within our means, then we will have a better environment. The out-of-school children, it's not so it's not a problem that you can't afford to send your child to the school, but the fault of the government for not creating that enabling environment for you to put a child in the school. Just like in the developed country, as we do call them, they have ways they mediate over such issue, whereby it is compulsory you send your child to school, and if you don't do that, it's an offense and there is a penalty. You're going to be charged for certain crime for not doing that. So I want to advise the parents, take care of your children. If you can't afford to send them to a very big school, send them to the school you can afford. Let them go and learn certain education that will help them and help the society at large. With that, we'll have a better society. That's my advice.
All right, thank you so much. Professor Adaramaja, I understand we have you back. We really have to round up, but before we leave, I would like, in 60 seconds, if you can just, with bullet points, just highlight what UBEC is doing to address the issue.
The level of UBEC is to make education functional. Emphasis is now on functional education. That is number one. Number two, inclusive education. That who are those that are mostly found on the streets? They are children of one disability or the other. Then UBEC is trying to make inclusive education, that your disability should not be an hindrance for you to access basic education. Then three, UBEC, at the level of UBEC and SUBEB, the funding of basic physical for basic education has increased under the leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. The funding has increased. With this funding, we believe that more physical facilities will be provided, furniture will be provided, learning materials will be provided, and so much. And number four is to make education more free in real sense. The idea of collecting money or whatever from children or from parents before they access basic education is no longer what we are trying to push now. So many schools and many states are now directed to go into what we call annual school grant. Annual school grant is a system where the administrators of basic education will now be giving support directly to schools to get. Why are they collecting PTA? Why are they collecting little money from the learners is because some of these facilities are not readily available in schools. So we believe that when funding is made available, then the idea of annual school grant will also help drastically to reduce the numbers of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Not only that, UBEC and Federal Ministry of Education has went into the review of our existing curriculum to make it more functional, to make it more oriented, to make it more acceptable to the community and even to the society. What are we teaching the children in the school? Are there something that they can grab, something that can bring food to the table, or something that are abstract? So a committee is on the way now, trying to review the curriculum of basic education.
All right,
we are meeting in Lagos by October this year.
All right,
to present where we have a clear presentation of the new basic education curriculum. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tuji, is working in that direction, and we are all of us at the level of UBEB. We are so committed to ensure that the mandate given to us by Mr. President to reduce the numbers
thank you so much for your
achievable.
Thank you so much for your time on the program. We sincerely appreciate the insight. Professor Shehu Raheem Adaramaja is the executive chairman of the Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board. He joins virtually from Kwara State, Nigeria. Also, many thanks to you, Bashiru Saheed, as the Deputy Registrar Admissions, Westland University, Osun State. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.